You are now entering the box. All right, welcome back inside the box. Today we have Rachel Thomas with us with RLT Jewelry. Welcome.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
And you can pull that a little closer to you. Sure. There. Go ahead. There you go. That? Don't be shy.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
I was looking into some of your stuff, and man, it looks like you do a lot of really cool stuff.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a blessing. I get to create keepsakes for anybody that has a milestone that they want to embrace or a loved one that they want to cherish and hold close. I get the opportunity to be of service.
Yeah. How long you been doing jewelry for?
So really all my life I've been dabbling in this and that. I'm fourth generation, so I grew up watching my dad create beautiful jewelry.
I was going to say, is that from the jewelry store what was it, A.B. Lauer?
Yep, that's my uncle.
Oh, okay, cool.
So it kind of, it shifted a few years ago. My dad moved out of town, and he's still doing some work, but my uncle and I were the only ones here in town for a few years. So he just shut down and retired. I should say he retired. He's happily retired. He's doing good. I followed up with him a couple weeks ago, and my dad is in Mississippi doing the bench work still, and
nice.
He's happy too.
So you used to, just growing up, you'd be around it all the time? And
yeah, I would love to just sit next to my dad and watch him work. There was something about his hands getting all dirty and calloused and holding like this beautiful work of art.
Yeah.
And, I always admire it. Even now, whenever I see my dad, the first thing I do is look at his hands.
That's funny. Yeah, there's something just about creating something, and especially like something where you have an end result. You know what I mean? To look at, it's so like satisfying.
Right.
Whether it's like creating, a graphic or a video or art or whatever, or even like my son's room. Mm-hmm. I've like redid his room and built him bunk beds and like did like this whole tree thing. It's like an outdoor theme, but just creating that and getting done, it's so satisfying.
Definitely. That sounds really cool.
So how long have you been in business for yourself?
Since 2018, that was when I started taking it pretty serious, and then actually launched the business in 19.
Awesome. How was that, given everything going on like right after that?
It was like September. I became registered with the state, and then March was when the shutdown happened, and it was pretty back to back. Yeah. But God brought us through it, and we just catered to people where they were, meeting in, I hate to say it, but I would meet in parking lots.
Right.
It was almost
weird.
Yeah. But now I get, people are more comfortable sitting in my house and have it open.
So you have like a little home studio set up?
Yep. Cool. So my entire shop is taken over the entire basement for the most part.
That's cool though.
Yeah. So I got a lot of my tools were my dad's and my grandpa's, and I have a few tools that were my great-grandpa's. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So the long line of jewelry. What's the word? Like jewelry smith or? Yeah.
So goldsmith or silversmith, or jeweler.
Jeweler, I guess. Yeah. Okay. It seems kind of dumb. I didn't know that.
Well, there's so many layers. There's different, different
aspects
venues
of it, or do you kind of, can you do what is, I don't know what goes into it. Is there like, whether you're working with silver or gold, or what I mean, does that take different skill sets, or is it?
Yes. Yep. So I do both silver and gold. I also work with copper as needed. So when it comes to the actual smithing of silver versus gold, one thing to keep in mind when you have the flame to it is the heat of the flame, the length of the flame staying on, and manipulating the heat to where it needs to go so that the metal does what it needs to do.
Melting points or whatever. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yep.
So is gold higher? Just
Lower.
Out of curiosity, lower.
Yeah.
It's softer.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yep. So it has a lower melting point. So something that I can hold the flame to for 10 seconds to get it heated up versus silver where it would be a 20 or a 30-second consistent flame on a specific area. Then you move the flame to manipulate the heat to get the metal to manipulate. So.
What is like the how do I want to put it, the like margin of error? So like if you work, obviously gold and silver, they're materials and they can be expensive, so is like if you mess up, is it easy to like just reuse or fix typically, or is...
So one of the investments that I had to do for my business, which was like a big like a, what's the word I'm looking for? A
investment?
Big bite. I had to take a big bite and really get a piece of equipment. It's called a rolling mill. So basically what I do is with the scrap metal, I melt it down to a liquid, and then I pour it into like a brick, and then I roll it through the rolling mill. So I can create sheet or wire that I can reuse. But the thing with that is when it comes to the gold, you got to keep the 10 karat and the 14 karat and the 20 karat and the 24 karat. So all of it has to be. Interesting.
I heard something one time, I don't know, and this just popped in my head when you were talking about melting it. Someone told me one time about I won't say the name of the business, but there's a local, like, I guess jewelry, gold place, whatever in town, and they do like very heavily like melt like scrap gold and stuff. Mm-hmm. And they said like once a year, or I don't know if it's 1 year, a quarter or something, they can literally like go in and scrape like the vents or something and get gold from it. Is that possible? Does that seem like that would make sense?
I can see that if they do enough of the refinery process, and if they might be able to.
I don't know. It was just they told me that one time. I was like, really? Like in the vents? That seems crazy. But so what do you? Is there something you specifically like more, or per se you specialize in? I know you said you do like the keepsake type stuff.
Yeah, I love doing more of the artistic jewelry versus the traditional settings. A lot of people like, just a simple pear-shaped with their breast milk. That seems to be one of our biggest sellers, is just a simple pear.
With their breast milk? They'll put like a little bit in there?
Yes.
Yes. Cool.
So I create the breast milk stone, and then I set that into the gold or the silver.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Is that so doing that's like one of the best, I guess, top seller things that you do?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So breast milk, wedding flowers, funeral flowers, and ashes. Those are my top keepsake making materials.
Yeah. Excuse me. I had, what did somebody give me? Oh, it was the flowers from my dad's funeral, made into like a little ball. Mm-hmm. And then it was on like a bookmark, I think it was.
Aw.
But at the time, I didn't really read books that much, so I took it off of there and like just made like this like makeshift charm that I just wore on a necklace all the time. But yeah, that was always pretty cool. I was told though you can't get it wet. Is there something you can do to it so that you could, or is there?
Well, I mean, we advise not to wear, like, if you're going to go swimming or if you're taking a shower, just mostly because of the chemicals. Mm-hmm. Water itself doesn't really alter the stone as long as it's cleaned off. Silver is more where my concern would be, because silver tarnishes when it gets wet. Mm. So making sure that it's nice and dry before, you set it down or whatnot.
Yeah, I think I just had it on like one of those like beaded chains like you like dog tags would have or whatever. Yeah. So what kind of process goes into making something like that? Like, is it like you're for like example, like the flowers, you know, when you make something out of flowers, is that like you put like epoxy on it, or how's?
Yep. So I use an acrylic, and I go through a process of dehydrating the flowers, getting all the moisture out, and then I'm able to set it in the acrylic, and that is hard enough that I can work the metal around and set it in there. And
Cool.
yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like almost hard to envision, you know. I feel like it's like got to see it. Do you do how about for like marketing? Do you do like a lot of videos of you working or anything like that, or how do you?
I try. I do a lot of videos with my hands on with the metalsmithing, more than the acrylic, because most of the time when I do acrylics, I'm doing multiple pieces all at once, and I really don't think to.
I know how that goes, yeah. And sometimes it just slows you down so much. You're like, I just want to make this and not have to think about it. It's so tough because it's like an important aspect for doing it for your business, but at the same time, you want to like be in the moment.
Right.
You know what I mean? And enjoy what you're working on, and like not have to think about like, all right, put this camera here and then put it here and then do this.
Yeah.
So no, I can understand that for sure. What kind of stuff do you typically do though to like get your name out there? Or?
So my focus was social media for a few years, and then I kind of realized that the local aspect is where my niche needs to be. So I work with funeral homes here in town. I also work with lactation consultants and nurses, NICU nurses, and I even work with like wedding venues and photographers. So I just try to branch out as much as I can and make collaborations and
network with the right people. Yeah, because I think that one, when I got the flower like little ball or whatever, that was like a gift, and I think they just found somebody. This was years ago. It was like 2015, I think. But I remember after he passed away, I think the funeral home like gave us a book of like options. I don't know who they use for that stuff. You know what I mean? But things you could have made or whatever. So I don't know. Like they probably want to take their cut and mark it up or whatever. So I don't know if there's an opportunity there, but you know what I mean. There's an option too. Trying to talk with them about if there's anything that could be done there.
Sure. So a couple of them have like a little display. A memorial piece that I've made with some business cards, and
cool.
So they're available in the consultation areas.
What's like the weirdest thing you've ever made?
Oh my goodness, beard hair.
Beard hair, really?
Uh-oh. Yeah, it was actually really.
You knew that one
fun.
Instantly.
Well, it was pretty recent too, but it turned out really, really cool. We did it in a halo setting, with his birthstone as the halo instead of like diamonds. We did the peridot. And so something like this, instead of the pink, it was the peridot. And then right here was the beard hair. And
was it someone that passed away, or was it?
It was her boyfriend.
Oh,
it was a Valentine's gift.
Ah, okay.
So that kind of takes it a little bit further.
Yeah.
We did in the likeness of a reticulated quartz. So it was mostly clear with the little bits and pieces of his beard hair, and so it looked like a reticulated quartz.
That's interesting. Beard hair.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna give my wife something with a bunch of my beard hair. Chain.
It might look pretty.
Yeah. When we went on our honeymoon, we went scuba diving in Hawaii. And the lady that ran the Marcella, she loved that I was a redhead, because when you go underwater and you do photography underwater, you typically want to use this like I don't remember the actual name of the filter, but it's like a red filter. So if you it doesn't look like it's red when you're underwater, but if you have red hair, it makes it like look crazy. So yeah, I don't know why that came to mind right there, but
that's really cool,
it made the beard and my hair look like so vibrant red. It was really weird. Made for cool pictures, though. I understand why she liked it.
I'm intrigued.
But yeah, it was interesting. So the beard hair, that's funny.
Yeah.
How about I saw on your Facebook you did like a knife.
Oh, sure. Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. How's that come about? Just looking for something?
Yeah. So a lot of my jewelry is catered to women, and I was just kind of brainstorming what can I do for men, and had the idea of the pocket knives. And so what I do is I pretty much take it apart and rebuild it. And
so are you able to just like take off like the grip and use it as kind of a mold to remake the same?
So it's like free-handed. Once I take off the grip, I just freehand making the handle.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if somehow you could like mold something around it and then use that as like a mold.
Right.
I don't know what word I'm using there. I feel like we're doubling up words a lot today.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty neat, though. What'd they think of that?
Yeah, it's cool. The most recent one I did.
Was that actually for somebody, or were you just playing around for that?
Yeah, so I've done like buckeyes from their grandfather's tree. I've done just, let's see, what else have I done? Flowers and the keepsake knives. The most recent one had the, let's see, it was her maternity dress, her wedding dress, the wedding flowers, her breast milk, all 4 of their kids' hair, and the hospital gown when they lost their when they lost their baby. It was the hospital gown that she was wearing.
Really packed it in there.
Yeah,
all the steps.
A lot. It like pretty much told their love story or their family story.
Yeah,
so
that's crazy.
Yeah, it was.
How do you go about like I don't like trying to lay that out in there? Like, because I imagine like once you do it, it's in there. So is it just about like just going for it, winging it?
Yeah. I mean, I kind of go with it. I surrender. I ask God for guidance over any piece that I make. But once it starts working out, I can see it, and I can manipulate how I need to. But most of the time, once I put it down, it's already, it's how it needs to be.
It's kind of in the liquid or whatever. And it's not much you can do after that. So did you said it was like an epoxy or a acrylic?
Yep,
is that what you said?
Yep. So it's an acrylic, and then I use.
Is acrylic different than epoxy?
So the one that I use, it has to dry fast.
Oh, okay.
Because a lot, especially with the ashes, they'll go to the bottom the longer that it sets. So I have to use one that's quickly.
Interesting. Yeah. And you might not even know this. I know like a lot of people do those live edge tables with like epoxy. Like, is that kind of, do you think that's like a similar process?
It's definitely similar, but it's a different kind of epoxy.
Probably doesn't have to dry quite as fast.
Right.
Yeah,
so
you're not
those you
putting
get
in ashes in it. Well, maybe people do. That'd be kind of neat.
Yeah. I haven't done one yet. But.
How about like the biggest thing you've ever done? Anything like, I don't know what to get into as far. Do you do anything besides jewelry? Like, I know they had some other weird stuff for keepsakes. I don't remember what they were offhand, but.
Yeah, I've done like garden stones, like stepping stones. And then I'm working on one that's like a stained glass with flowers.
Cool.
And then I'm just diving into ceramic work. So incorporating the ashes into the ceramic itself, and then also impressing the flowers on the ceramics.
Interesting.
So I
think I saw a little snippet of you doing that.
Yeah.
With your, is it daughter?
Yep.
Daughter? Nice.
Yeah, so she gets to.
That's cool.
Have some fun.
She like it?
Yeah, she's learning patience.
How old is she?
She's 4.
Nice.
Yeah.
My son turns 4 this weekend.
Aw. It's a fun age.
Yeah, it's definitely better than 2. 2s were not fun.
Yeah.
That's cool though. It's probably neat that she gets to see you making that stuff, I would think.
Yeah.
Just like you did, you know what I mean, growing up.
Yeah, she loves to be a part of too. So she has like her own little hammer, and I
Nice.
have like a saw frame without the blades on it
Yeah.
that she can hold on to and stuff.
That's fun.
Yeah, she's very hands-on, and she likes to create, and I can see how her mind is already working, and so I'm trying to incorporate her into the business too. Like,
Yeah.
I'll sit with clients, and she'll just be over in the corner and making a drawing for her, you know, for the client, and at the end of the consultation, she'll go up and hand it to them and tell them what she drew and why, and
That's funny.
you know, they get to send me a picture of it on their fridge. You know?
Like, all right, now I'm going to make this crazy looking drawing for you here.
Right.
How's working at home? I know I had a home office for a long time, and it was super nice because it was so convenient, but it was easy to get distracted.
Right. Yeah, that's the biggest problem that I run into is making the separation between getting work done and family time with my husband and with my daughter.
Yeah.
And bed. You know, like
Right.
I have to sleep, but sometimes I'm just like, you know, I got to get up and work, and it's hard for me to set that boundary of, okay, I don't need to work right now. I actually need to rest.
Mm-hmm.
And versus, am I just being lazy?
Yeah.
All I have to do is go down the stairs. Like,
Yeah, there were nights where I'd be like, my wife would go to bed. I'd be like, all right, I got to get this website done. And then she'd wake up at like 8 a.m. She's like, have you gone to bed? And I'm like, I'm getting the site done tonight. I'm not messing around.
right. Yeah.
It's so hard to do that now, though, with kids because, you know, they're up ready to go. And it's like, I'm about to go to bed.
Yeah.
I can't be up right now.
Right. Yeah, that's one thing that we struggle with, getting into the routine of, you know, my daughter just wants to constantly play, and so how can I incorporate play with me getting marketing stuff done and, you know, all that. So.
It's hard being your own business owner, man. Do you do it full time?
Yep.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you take that step then in 2019? Is that?
Yeah. So basically what happened, I was working full time, and my parents decided to move out of state, and my mom was watching our baby at the time.
Oh, okay.
And my husband was like, you know,
Were you working full time with them?
Nope. I was working for a medical facility.
Gotcha.
And yeah, so they decided that they were moving, and I
either pay for daycare or
yeah. And my husband saw it as an opportunity, like, you know, you can stay home, just like what our plan was for me to grow my business, stay home, homeschool our child, and, you know, like, this is our jumping off point, but you have to be willing to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So his support was really what pushed me over the edge to make the decision.
Cool. That's good.
And he still is my number one support, which is incredible.
Yeah.
You know, he does a lot of the
takes
talking.
a lot from a spouse. You know what I mean? It's hard. I know, you know, there's plenty of nights and days that either, you know, I mean, even before we had kids, when I wasn't around on the weekends or whatever, like, I mean, I was working, you know, 12-hour, 13-hour days, whatever. And like, that's, I mean, you know, putting up with it or being willing to not be around or whatever, it's a hard thing. And now with the kids, you know, if I'm not there, then she's doing it all by herself with 3 kids, 3 and under. So
wow, my goodness.
Yeah, so it's I know it takes a lot, so that's good. You gotta, you know, you can't. I don't think you can do it without somebody that's you know, supportive like that. So you homeschool also?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep, we're starting lessons and getting going.
So now you have to figure out how to divide time, like homeschooling and
right.
and doing that. Interesting. Yeah, that's a whole nother dynamic. Schools are weird nowadays, though, man. There's some weird stuff going on in school, so I can understand that.
Yeah. It was interesting. The other day, I was sitting working on our letters and trying to go over the phonics of it, and she's like, "Well, I just want to draw this letter," and I'm like, "Okay, I guess we're learning the writing."
Yeah, I'm switching to writing here.
And she just took it and she looked at it and she just copied it. Like, her her mind works just like mine. Like seeing something, how can I make it? So it's going to be about, altering the learning to her needs and how she can incorporate and understand. So it was a really neat moment. I'm like, okay, I think I can teach you because I know how your mind is working.
Figuring it out. Yeah, that's neat. So how is it, like, how do you even figure out how to do that? Is there just like stuff online, like outlines of what to do, or
yeah?
Is there any requirements, like the state or something? Like, here's what you got to teach your kids.
Yeah, it depends on what your goal is with homeschooling. So my understanding, and I might be totally wrong with it, but I'm pretty sure I'm not. If you're wanting them to go into like a regular high school, they're going to have to meet those requirements at certain ages throughout the grade school level. So it just really depends. And then the same with college. So if you decide to homeschool in high school, then...
Right, they got to meet this. Interesting. Do you guys have a plan on that yet, or just kind of going one step at a time right now?
Yeah. I think it'll end up being how it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Stuff happens how it's supposed to happen. I always say that happens for a reason. Who you meet, who you run. So many crazy things have happened to me just from doing, you know what I mean, just from being somewhere or knowing somebody. And I mean, this whole business honestly has grown just from obviously you have to put yourself out there and put yourself in positions and be open-minded, but so many amazing things just from like running into somebody and or somebody suggesting to somebody, or you know what I mean, even like I'm on the board with Michael at Silsa or whatever, and like even getting connected with that group happened because I did a podcast with somebody that was a runner. Isn't that what happened? Joe. Yeah, with Joe, and then Joe suggested doing one with Tracy, who owns the running center, and then Tracy suggested.
I think Tracy suggested Joe.
How do we get connected with Tracy though? Originally.
Was it Michael?
I think it was a local business. Oh no, her employee.
Oh yeah, that's right. So Ryan was friends with somebody that works there and suggested her coming on, and Tracy came on, and we got connected with her and actually did a podcast with Joe. She suggested him, but Tracy then was on the board of Silsa, and you know what I mean? It's just like so many weird things, how stuff like that happens, and it seems like everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, for sure.
The tough part is to accept bad things.
Yeah.
Like if bad things happen, like then trying to think like, okay, why did this happen? What's this doing? What's this teaching me? You know what I mean?
Right. How can I move forward? What,
Yeah. It sounds like you're a pretty religious person.
I wouldn't call it religious, but yeah.
Something?
Yeah.
Believe in something?
Yeah.
That's kind of how I am. I just kind of think like, I don't like go to church or anything, but I definitely like believe in like a higher power, or maybe it's just destiny overall. I don't know. You know what I mean? I just believe, again, things happen for a reason. I definitely like will say a prayer. I don't know who I'm praying to, but I'm saying like you know what I mean? I'm like hoping for something to happen or hoping for something better. I think that's really though like what people need. They just need something to talk to, or when they're alone, or need something or need help. I don't know. Yeah,
I see that a lot with my clients, especially with the morning clients. They don't.
Yeah, you probably see a wide range of people.
Yeah, so some will be totally brokenhearted and not know where they're supposed to be spiritually. And my hope is that I can just plant a seed and watch it grow. And, I trust that God's going to water it.
It's cool that you're giving people such like a keepsake. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I used to do a lot of wedding videos. And I did actually enjoy them. They were a pain in the ass, but I did enjoy them in the aspect of it was like, here's what my problem was, is I would take too long to edit them because I wanted them to be like, tell this story so perfectly.
Right.
And then eventually it just didn't make sense because I would take so long to do it. And then people are like, where's that wedding video? But I wouldn't edit if I wasn't in the right mindset to edit.
Right.
And it just... between people getting mad how long it would take to get them back, and the time that I was spending, I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. And they were stressful. I mean, you know.
I can see how that can be stressful.
Have you ever done any wedding jewelry?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I've done some with wedding flowers, and I've done some as a memorial piece for the bride to wear on her wedding day.
Cool. How about pets? Anybody ever have you do anything with pet stuff?
Absolutely. Yeah. I do paw prints and ashes of pets. I've done fur, and yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. I'm actually working on one that's, I believe, 3 different dogs of theirs that we're going to incorporate in one piece. And
They have all the ashes from them. That's neat.
yeah. So.
How do you do you have a lot of sample stuff or just pictures, or how do you usually go about showing people?
So I have consultations, and I'll have my website pulled up, but I also have a little display of different materials and different designs. I try to have, like a halo design with a ring versus a more artistic necklace. I love pairing with natural stones too. So I try to have at least one with one natural stone. Sometimes there's 2 or 3 with, a large keepsake stone.
Cool.
So I try to have a variety of hands-on, but a lot of my work, as soon as it's made, it's gone.
Yeah.
So it's hard to show. I've made it a priority to make some keepsakes that are hands-on so that they can see it tangibly.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a little photography thing to be able to set them up and get a nice photo?
Yeah, I just moved it to our back room so I can have better natural light. Actually, today is a great day for me to take some product photos. That's on my to-do list.
How do you usually do it? Do you usually like a solid background, or do you try to set it up in a more natural setting, or
both? I'm still looking for more women that would be willing to model for me. I would love that, and I always ask for photos. I don't always ask. I try to remember to ask.
Right, I know how that goes.
Yeah, for photos of them wearing it. But I have different backgrounds that I use. I try to set up with some displays so that you can see the movement of the necklace versus just laying flat on the surface. And really trying to tell the story in the photo also without taking away from the jewelry itself, if that makes sense. So
for sure.
One piece I just finished is more of a scenic piece. So there's copper trees with Copper Mountain, and the background is a dark night with the stars as the ashes, and I added a little bit of opal to the stars too. So it's and an abalone moon. So it's, a totally scenic picture on a ring, and getting all that detail into the photo without anything taken away from it.
Yeah. It's probably is some times where it's better to put it in a, draped over wood or sometimes to just have it on a solid background.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. I could tell you were just picturing the whole thing there describing.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I could tell you're just looking at it in your mind right there. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to just create, when clients...
Do you mess with stone, diamonds and stuff like that a lot of times?
Yep. I'm waiting for some diamonds today, actually. So,
how is that from a... how do I say this? Obviously, diamonds can be expensive. How is that from a standpoint of, I guess, fronting the money, to buy diamonds or something like that? How do you get a deposit to help out? And okay.
Yeah, so I try anything over 400, at least half is down.
Yeah.
And I offer payment plans. I try to cater to different price points too, as much as I can. So
can you get jeweler insurance? Does it cover if you if you jack up an expensive ass diamond or something?
Yeah. So I've looked in. I mean, I probably should do more research on it, just because I don't take on a whole lot of pre-made jewelry, because I'm not a box store. I don't have brick and mortar and an overhead. covering. I try not to mess with it, and I get people all the time asking me to do repairs and stuff, and I'll say I'll look at it and tell you who you need to talk to, because I'm gonna refer you back to the original jeweler, because I know if it were me and somebody took a piece that I worked on to somebody else,
right,
and then they jacked it up, more than what it was.
Yeah, then, frustrating.
Yeah, so it's about a mutual respect for other jewelers too. So I try to say.
Is it usually like marked or something by who did it?
Yep. So there's maker stamps, and there's also stamps to tell you what metal it is. So some of them might say 925, that's sterling silver, like a 14K, that's 14 karat, so forth. But there's some great groups actually on Facebook that are jewelers just helping other jewelers, and they'll upload a photo of, okay, whose signature is this? And somebody knows somebody, or they're right there on there, and just send it off to them.
Yeah.
So it's.
Are there a lot of jewelers in Springfield?
Not as many as there used to be.
I was gonna say, I feel like.
Yeah, we still got
like the Lauer name. I definitely recognize. Actually, Josh here saw it, and he's like, "You should ask her if she's related to the Lauer Jewelry Store." And I was like, "Is that her in her name?" He's like, "It's in her thing." And I was like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "All right, cool."
Yeah.
That's so neat, though, that you guys have had that, like, from your grandpa, you said?
Great grandpa.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, my great grandpa was a watchmaker.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Especially that long ago. That's probably really interesting.
Yeah, it's really cool to like see.
Do you have any of his watches?
No, but I have a lot of the findings and the tools that he used.
Huh. That'd be neat to find something he made, like an old watch.
Yeah, I don't think I do. I do have some like engraving practice pieces that my grandpa did of like his wife's name. So
cool.
That was really neat to come across, but I don't think I have anything of my great grandpa that he made.
Watches I feel like have become super popular like in the last couple years.
Yeah.
I don't know what's up with that, like why it became so popular all of a sudden, but it's like out of nowhere. I feel like they just got so popular.
Right.
My watch usually doesn't even have the right time on it. It's more just like a style thing or something goes with my outfit.
Yeah, I've been on the lookout for like an old vintage face, because I have a really neat band that I found, but I don't have a face to it. So I'm hoping I can. I mean, it's kind of the same thing with jewelry. Like I can look at it and figure out how to manipulate it or how to create it, and so I'm hoping I can try like the watch face and go in there and figure stuff out too. Watches
are complicated, man. Like especially some of the really nice ones. Like when you look at like this, I don't remember. It's like it's one of the most expensive watches. I was watching this video, and this takes this dude like 2 years to make this watch.
Wow.
It's like so many like these little intricate parts, and I'm like, Jesus, that's crazy.
I can see that.
I think that's what it was. I don't know. I might be exaggerating, but it was like a year for sure. And but the watch is like a $1 million watch or something crazy. So that's. Do you ever do any shows or anything?
Yeah, it's not my strong suit, just because I try to cater to the personal one-on-one. But I do some of my displays of natural stone, and I use vendor events for like marketing, just getting my name out there and passing out information, and whenever I can be of service.
Have you ever thought of like a couple like signature pieces that you could just have like sell regularly?
Yeah, I
have like people do that sometimes. You know what I'm talking about? Like they just have a couple designs that are just kind of signature pieces. I thought of what makes me think about, and this is weird, I don't know if you know. Do you know who Casey Neistat is? He's a YouTuber, and his wife has this company called Billy. Have you ever heard of that?
No, I haven't.
They do like random shit, but they do some jewelry, and she has just like, it's so basic. Yeah. And obviously she has Casey Neistat, who has like millions and millions of followers, so he could probably make a post, supporting his wife, and she sells thousands of pieces. But some of them were just neat. They're just like real simple, even their shirts just say Billy. So weird, but it's like, yeah, they have like jewelry stuff. They did like these pop-up events where they would do like permanent jewelry, you know, where you like stick your hand in, they like weld it on you. I was like, that seems, I don't know what, a commitment. That's a strong commitment right there.
Yeah.
Has anybody ever asked you for something like that?
Yeah. I have opinions about it.
Yeah, it's weird. That's weird. I mean, I understand from my perspective because a lot, like whenever, like for example, that necklace I had with my dad's thing on it, like I would wear that like every day, like all the time. And, you know, pretty much wear it all the time, you know, I probably wore it every day for 2 years or something like that. You know what I mean? And I'll usually do that with like bracelets or something. Like right now, I mean, this is just one of those rubber ones, but my neighbor's deployed and his wife had these made, and it like stands for red, or it's red because it stands for remember everyone deployed or something. Yeah. So I was like, all right, man, I'm putting this on until you get back. So get your ass back here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I usually kind of commit and have that on whatever it is. I don't know why. I guess not as much lately.
Yeah. A lot of people will just wear it until it breaks.
Yeah. Kind of an interesting concept though. Something freaking welded around your wrist. I know that freaked my wife out.
Yeah.
She's so claustrophobic about stuff. Even like ring. Like if your fingers swell up and you can't get it off, even though I don't have any reason to take it off, it's just like I'm like, oh, it freaks me out. My ring's on me. I can't get it off.
I get it.
So yeah, that's kind of a weird thing. Have you ever done? I know you said you've done some stuff with wedding, like keepsake type stuff. Have you ever done like wedding rings or anything like that?
I'm trying.
Yeah.
I just started partnering with a casting house. He's in Illinois also, because, you know, it's a long story short. I had it in my mind that I needed to do all the settings by myself, like only me, hands-on, right? And it was almost a humbling experience to say, to make the decision as a business owner, it's not fair to spend, 4 hours doing something that I can, give a percentage of my proceed to another person who can make it in a day, and send it in. And then, so something like this, we just started.
Check it out.
Yeah. So that's breast milk. But what we're doing now is offering this style.
That's cool.
Where it's very precise stone setting, right? So I'll set the stones, but he'll make the actual ring for me.
Yeah.
So the silver, the gold, he'll cast, send it to me. We go through the design together, where I get the measurements of the stone, of the the diamonds or the birthstones around it.
Yeah.
And we go through that together. He makes it, sends it back to me, and it's minimal effort on my part instead of me spending hours trying to drill those little holes.
For sure. That's cool.
Yeah.
So is all the white in here from breast milk?
Yep.
Neat. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's been.
So is this called a halo? Is that what?
So that's a hidden halo.
Because it's sideways? Okay.
Yep. So if it were showing on top, it would be a regular halo.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So my aunt is also a jeweler out in Colorado.
Oh.
And I worked with her to custom design my wife's ring.
That is so cool.
Yeah, so that was neat. I had a couple different rings, and I'm like, I like this from this one, and this from this one, and this from this one, and she was able to kind of custom put one together. So that was pretty cool.
Awesome.
And then Brian Denny, he was a buddy of mine, and I kind of told him what I wanted for mine, and I think he did the same thing though. He showed me well, maybe not. He might have done the whole thing himself, but he made a 3D model of it first or whatever. Yep. And then so that's kind of neat having a touch in it, help give it the design input rather than just going and picking one out.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's where it just feels like, I guess I'm kind of unique from a man's perspective. Typically they don't always have I don't know. I feel like I did a really good job. She loves it. You know what I mean? But that might be harder for some guys. You know what I mean? To like have that design perspective on something like that.
Right. I think then it just kind of falls back to the jeweler of
giving input.
Yeah. Of, is this really going to work in the design, or is it just a nice thought? You know, how can we incorporate and manipulate? And that's what I strive to do, because a lot of the times, you know, clients will have an idea in mind and it's just not feasible, which is okay. You know, we're able to, I don't want to say meet in the middle.
Yeah,
but,
guide them.
Yeah.
To what is feasible.
Right.
There's some limitations.
Right. So it always works out how it's supposed to.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, we run into that. Someone wants something for a video, and I'm like, okay, this ain't like a movie set. You know what I mean? Like, so it could be done, but we're talking a lot of money. So, I mean, yeah, we run into the same thing. I think with anything creative, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. People have these crazy ideas, but it's like, all right, but what are you actually trying to spend on this?
Right.
And probably even more so with jewelry, because there's a lot more limitations probably with sizes and materials and stuff.
Yeah, and just the actual like science behind it. You know, going back to the hands-on, you know, with the torch and the melting points, and if you're wanting this finding onto this metal and this size, and you know, it's
like different things don't like bond together or work together.
Right, because one might have a lower melting point than the other, and then instead of having all the detail of this one, it's going to be a big blob of melted.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I would think about that though, like as far as like a couple like pieces that are like, I don't know, I just think about it from a business owner perspective. You know what I mean? Because if you're always stuck doing something completely custom, you can't make sales. There's only one of you.
Right.
So if you could make like have a cool design, like make a cool like niche piece that's your like key thing, you always have that piece to where, you know what I mean, someone might buy that right while you're in the middle of making something custom, and now you have more revenue coming in.
And that's what my husband keeps putting in my ear. He's like, you know, you got to have that one piece that you can sell over and over and over. And I'm like, it hasn't come yet.
Yeah. Well, that's true too. You got to let it come.
I've tried a few different things, and they just, you know, I feel like it's going to happen. Yeah. I'm willing.
You're open-minded to it. It'll come to you. Maybe your daughter will draw it on a piece of paper.
Yeah, that's it.
Like, that's it. That's the winner.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, let's see what we got here.
All right.
Oops, so I got a gift. Well, kind of I did.
Yeah. Kind of.
This is cool. Is this wax?
Yeah.
Oh, it's your logo. That's awesome. I don't know if we can see that there, but that's neat. So you do that on all your boxes?
Yep.
That's cool. It's kind of like sealing a piece of paper.
Right.
That's super neat.
Thank you.
So is that just one color of wax, or is there?
I got two in there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Jeez, I can't believe how detailed the stamp of it is.
It's been a lot of fun to mess around with that. Different mediums too. I'm pressing that on the ceramics neat. Too. So. Oh
my God, that's so pretty.
That's a little sharp right there.
So what do we got here?
All right, so that is an enameled copper piece.
Probably can't see it up there, but.
So that's just an abstract enamel that's adhered to copper, and then that copper is set on the sterling silver band. So
that's super pretty.
That's one thing that I'm trying to get going also, is that enameled copper, because it's, you know, each one is unique.
Where's the color come from?
That's the enamel.
Okay.
So the enamel is like a powder, and I put it on the copper and I heat it underneath. So my heat is focused on the copper itself. Once that copper reaches a certain point, it'll melt that powder into a liquid, and then it adheres and bonds to the copper itself. Kind
of creates its own little design while it's happening. That's cool. And
then whenever it settles down, it's a solid piece. And
that's very neat.
Yeah.
So how do you do the hearts on the side? Is that?
So that's just a wire that I ordered in.
Oh, cool.
Again,
it's got like a pattern on it. Neat.
Yep. So.
Super cool. Well, that's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
appreciate that.
And if
That's
she doesn't
cool.
like it, I'll get her something else.
No, that's cool. Definitely. I bought you a nice gift today, babe.
Right.
That's super cool. No, I'll have to tell her about the whole like breast milk thing, because that's
Yeah.
really cool. Because she's we're on our last kid, so like
Yeah,
you know,
well.
it's gonna be over before she knows it.
Yeah.
God, here's some business cards and everything. Awesome.
Yeah.
Very neat.
Yeah. So I try to incorporate a scripture card into each one, and I just find that it's the right message that the client needs, and however personal it's between them and God. So and then that last one is the Chatham area moms. They've been a great group of just moms supporting moms.
Are you guys out in Chatham?
They
You live
are.
out- Oh, okay.
Mhm.
I didn't know if you lived out there.
Yep. So a couple women who started it and became clients of mine, and I just said, if you got business cards, I'll put them in for
Cool.
all the mommy clients that I have.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, do they have like a Facebook group or something?
Mhm. Yep. And then I also have cards for there's Dr. Jessica Kay. She does at-home euthanasia for pets. So she and I partnered together too. So
Wow.
I have different connections that I put with each client, and just hope that
Yeah.
they can connect if needed.
I saw you had some like shirts and stuff on
Oh, yeah.
your social media.
Yeah. So
What you just
trying
come up
that
with
out.
some random designs to throw on there or whatever? Or?
So most of the images are actually keepsakes. So I just kind of messed around with the artistic side, and just edited the photo and put up high contrast and
Yeah.
made it more abstract. But a few of them just have the backgrounds of the flowers.
That's neat.
Yeah.
Our one of our clients, Midwest Specialty Printing, they have what's called a DTF machine, and they can print like full color designs and apply them to a shirt, and it's pretty awesome. We just
Yeah.
did it for our St. Patrick's Day shirts, because I don't know if you know about printing of shirts, but like screen printing is like the most durable, where it's going to last the longest.
Okay.
But you have to pull the ink through a screen, and when you have like 3 colors, well, you have to go 3 different screens, apply 3 different colors. But on this DTF, it's like just prints a design, and then you just take that and heat transfer it to a shirt, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It might not last quite as long, but I think it's still rated it's supposed to last through like 40 washes or something.
Wow.
So it's I just thrown it out there as an option for like, because full color's hard, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they got a pretty neat, and they'll even do something where they'll like I don't remember the exact details, but they'll like will help you set up a situation where basically you sell the stuff and they'll make it and ship it for you.
Oh, cool.
So that's
Okay.
kind of neat.
Yeah.
Something to keep in mind.
Well, thank you. I appreciate
If that
it.
helps with that at all, I don't
am
know.
such a newbie on all of it. I don't really think I've even dived into it yet.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Well, it's
Like,
hard, like with clothes. I mean, there's a lot of online things, I guess, nowadays where you can kind of design it and they do the same thing. But it's also nice if you can keep it local whenever you
Right.
can,
Yeah.
which, can be hard sometimes. But
Yeah.
but I saw a shirt on there that was Milky Mamas.
Oh, yeah.
Is that the group?
No, it's just
Have you ever seen there's a Facebook group called Milky Mamas?
Yeah.
My wife's on there.
Yeah.
So I always joke around about it. I even had like oh man, I don't remember how it went. I made up some funny theme song for her every time she was messing with it.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like, I wish that there was more breast milk supporting groups. A few years ago when I first started with my daughter, it just seems like in the last year specifically, it seems like there's just so much
more
support.
awareness stuff coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely what the heck just happened there? It's definitely a weird thing. It was tough, especially with our first kid. He would he wouldn't latch, or I don't know, he just wasn't transferring milk or whatever, so she ended up having to pump everything and then give it to him through a bottle. So it was hard.
Wow.
It was really hard for her at the beginning with our first kid.
Definitely.
She made it through it though.
Good. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'd love to make her something.
Yeah, it's a good idea. To see what she thinks about that. She's not like, she doesn't ever wear like a ton of jewelry.
Yeah.
She used to. I don't know why. It doesn't seem like she does as much anymore.
Yeah. I used to too, and then kids.
Maybe that's probably why. Honestly, you're right, because the kids always grab it. Yeah, if she has earrings in, they grab the earrings.
Right,
Yeah,
especially
that's
3
probably
under
exactly
3.
why. Actually, I really thought about that or asked her, but that's probably definitely why.
Yeah.
So what's next with the business? What are we trying to do here? Get more awareness.
Yeah.
Sell more online.
Well.
Get your signature piece design.
Right. Yeah. Thank you for the reminder. I definitely need to do that, Andrew. And I'm sure Michael's just like cheering us on right now.
Hold that over your head. See, he told you
right?
too. Sorry.
Yeah. No, Michael's been awesome as far as just guidance with the business too, because it just comes naturally for him. You know, he talks.
Well, he's
so
funny
well,
because he doesn't own his own business, but he definitely works like he does. It seems like at least.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, this dude's like a member of all these things. He's always doing something. I'm like, geez, he might as well have his own business with how much he's working.
Right. Yeah. He helps a lot, though.
Yeah.
Seriously,
that's awesome.
Well,
he always definitely gives you a lot of praise when I've talked to him about what you're doing and work and whatever. You know what I mean? It's good to have that, like we said earlier.
Yeah.
How'd you guys meet? Are you from here?
Yeah. So I am, but he's from Southern Illinois. We actually met through like mutual friends, and we were hanging out, and we were both like, not interested. And
how long you guys been together?
8 years.
Wow, nice.
So our 5-year wedding anniversary is coming up next month.
Awesome.
But yeah, we were like, I don't want to date you. Well, that's fine. I don't want to date you. And then I was so mad when he kissed me. I was so mad. It's like, and there goes our friendship, dude.
I'm sending him a clip of this.
I was so mad.
That's funny.
Oh man, but yeah, I mean, he's
you were
amazing.
hooked.
Yeah.
Gave you a dose of the Thomas.
Yeah. He's been just incredible.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm so blessed. God's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then Addie's so much like him too, and I'm like, no, it's 2 versus 1. Like
that's funny.
She knows how to communicate better than I do, and I'm like, okay, here we go. So, but yeah, it's just been a wild 5 years of marriage, and with the business, he's been just helping me, not just with supporting, like, you can do this, but just brainstorming of, where I can branch out to, who I can connect with. And
he definitely has a lot of connections.
Yeah.
It's out there networking constantly.
Right.
That's good, though, It's good that can have that balance and support. Because it's hard, man. I'm sure you're definitely experiencing that with just accounting, pricing, what's going on. Like, everything's so annoying. Yeah, it's like, I just want to make jewelry.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have a thought all the time.
Yeah, and I've been blessed to have clients be understanding of, I can't give you a price point until we have like a definite design, because of the weight in gold versus the weight in silver and what kind of gold, and
price fluctuates constantly.
How many hours am I putting into this, and all the things.
How do you deal with that? Do you usually say, like, this is going to be the price, or you're like, this is an estimate?
Right. So it's an estimate, and I try to give a little bit of a leeway, and if it's something that is, if it ends up being over what I've estimated, and if it's not too much to bite the cost, I'll.
Right.
But most of the time, it's going in with that understanding of, there's a what is it called?
Range there, a little bit of a range.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but
how? Or have any clients get mad about it? Like, do you
Not
ever charge
really.
more and they're like,
I don't think so.
yeah.
No,
it's
most of
always
the
a tough thing.
time we do a good job of building the sentimental value enough where, I mean, it's
Yeah.
most of the most expensive pieces are the ashes. So we're wanting it to be perfect, and most clients have that understanding of.
Why is that?
I think it's just because it's the actual like body of their loved one. I'm thinking is why it's.
But when
so-
you say the most expensive pieces, is it just because
Oh.
it's harder to do them, or is it?
That's just because of the sentimental value.
Yeah.
You know, I have to do more with the ashes than I
Gotcha.
do with the flowers or
Yeah.
the breast milk,
Okay.
the hands-on, and protecting myself and the environment and making sure that everything doesn't get cross-contaminated, and,
Yeah.
you know, making sure that my dogs aren't running into the room or my 4-year-old, and, you know,
Right.
so it's
All right. Weird question that just popped in my head. So
Okay.
I have a container of ashes,
okay.
and when I shake that thing around, it sounds like there's some chunks in there.
Uh-huh. Yes.
Is that? Do you experience this? People give you ashes, and you're like,
Yeah, and it's
I'm like,
gonna-
is that bone? What is
Uh-huh.
that in there?
Yeah, so it depends on the process of the cremation itself. You know, it takes hours to go through that process, and again, with the right temperatures and whatnot. But sometimes I'll get, you know, more thicker pieces than the finer, and I have a method to, you know, grind them down and get the consistency that I need. But
Yeah.
but yeah, it's
Is that a little bit weird?
it's I've only
You're
had
like,
to
"I'm
do it a
done."
couple times,
Yeah.
and I feel guilty doing it
Right.
almost, you know.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Because it's more of this isn't what you presented to me.
Right.
You know, I'm manipulating the actual material
Yeah.
versus
Yeah, it's weird.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
kind of
but-
it's definitely a weird thing.
Yeah, so I just have to make sure
I
that
have to think about that though, because I have my dad's ashes, my grandpa's ashes, and my grandma's ashes.
Wow.
Like just a little bit. Like we just
Mhm.
saved like a little container of them, so that'd be kind of
Sure.
cool to like do something with all of them.
Mhm. I have a keepsake that I'm working on with
You only
her-
need like a little bit, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I request like a half teaspoon, so
Yeah.
really not much at all. And whatever I don't use, I give back. And then I just recommend to hold on to it just in case you wanted another
Mm-hmm.
further down. But
What were you saying? They're working on a keepsake for?
yeah, so it's 3 different sets of ashes, her 2 children and her mom. And we're actually using a ring that her kids picked out for her.
Cool.
So we're taking the diamonds out and going to do something with the diamonds, and then setting all 3 of the ash stones in there.
Nice. That's neat.
Yeah.
Very cool. What a good way to memorialize somebody, or was that the word?
Yeah.
Commemorate, whatever.
Yeah. I just find like when I lost a dear friend, you know, I had a necklace with her funeral flowers, and like just having something tangible to hold on to, you know, like
Mhm.
just that helped me with the grieving process. And I just see it all the time of especially with the mourning clients, you know, they're reaching for something, you know.
Yeah.
They're trying to fill that void that was left, and you know, I'm just able to offer something
Mm-hmm.
something that can help them in that, and you know, give them a little bit of comfort.
Yeah, that's awesome. Can I see your? I want to see. Can I see your green?
Oh
ring?
yeah, oh yeah.
What is this guy?
So that is called an Aurora Opal, and that's all just
That's awesome.
fun. I
like-
love that green, so that's
Probably can't see it very well, but here we go. That's cool. Aurora Opal. Opal's my
Mhm.
birthstone, I think. October.
October. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Damn,
I'm a
that's
sucker
cool.
for opal. I try to use it anytime I can.
So is this like a pattern then also you can get like this
Mhm.
whole
Yep.
the
Yep.
leaves and it's like a little fence holding it in or something
Yeah.
there. That's cool. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
beautiful stone. That's neat. I
Thank
don't
you.
think I've ever seen an Aurora opal.
Yeah, it's named
It's like
after
the Northern Lights or something over
that's
here.
exactly what it's named after. So it's a synthetic opal. It's a man-made.
Is it?
But yeah, it's named after the Aurora Borealis.
That's cool. Very pretty.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And then, there's to make the silver darker, you use a liquid called liver of sulfur.
And what's it, tarnish it a little bit?
Yeah, and it just smells like
Interesting.
rotten eggs, but it's so funny. That something as disgusting as a yellow thing that smells like rotten eggs.
Works perfectly
Yeah,
for this.
it's a lot of fun. But
Well, what is the hardest part of being a small business owner? This is kind of a wrap-up question.
Sure. Really knowing if it's a good idea or not. Like, is it something that I want to do, or is this something that's going to benefit the business?
Like when just making decisions about
Yeah.
what you're making, or
Right. Like new things to launch, new designs to do, like the enameled copper. Is this something that I really need to spend my time doing, or should I continue focusing on the keepsakes, or do I start shifting to the ceramics? And where should my time be most focused?
So I'll give my experience some input on that. It's
Sure.
really tough. Like, yeah, I guess you have to look at, like, am I trying to make money here? You know what I mean? Like, because
Right.
obviously you could probably look at something and say, like, wow, I did this really fast. It looks cool. I could probably sell it for this, way more than the time it took me. And I could be super profitable with this. But do I enjoy doing this?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because for me, for example, like when I first started the business, I've kind of thought that the idea is I'd start doing some client stuff to pay the bills, but I would build up do my own videos for, like, to put on YouTube and to put on social media, and like maybe at some point I just can make money off of my own stuff, like making what
Right.
I want to make. You know what I mean? And the client stuff took off so much. Not that I don't like doing it. It's awesome. I love making anything. Unfortunately, I don't create as much as I used to, because you know what I mean. I just have to let my team do a lot of it, because I'm just busy running the business.
Right.
But the idea is to get to a point where obviously the business is kind of self-sufficient and I can make
Right.
whatever I want.
Right.
When that point is, I don't know. Hopefully
Yeah.
sooner than later. But I've been
Right.
trying to get there, and I think we're on the right path to getting to that point. But yeah, it's there's a lot of stuff that I want to make or do make that. This podcast, for example, I don't make any money off of this. Nobody's, what I mean? Nobody's paying me to do it. I don't have any sponsors. If you want to sponsor the podcast, hit me up. But I just enjoy doing it. I enjoy talking to you. Now, I will say we have gotten a little bit of business from random people that have seen it or have talked to me on it that are like, so we've gotten some business from it. Enough to cover the time that's invested into it? Probably not. But I enjoy talking to people. I love hearing about things. I love hearing people's stories. I feel like there's always something to learn from everybody.
Right.
But yeah, in the end, I think just finding that balance, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you don't keep playing around, though, and trying things, then you might not ever find that one thing that's like breakthrough.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because when we first started, I thought we were just going to make videos for people. I was like, oh, we'll just make videos for people, and maybe we'll get them on a monthly contract where we make so many videos a month.
Sure.
Then people didn't know what to do with the videos.
Oh.
I'd give them a video, and they're like, well, what do I do with this? I'm like, well, post it to your social media. How do I do that? And then I'd help them post it, and they'd be like, well, how do I get more views? And I'm like, I quickly realized that business owners either don't know how to, they don't have the time to, or they just plain don't want to. And then that's kind of where we came about to where we offer a full circle of service for content
Right.
creation, marketing, managing social media, like the whole the whole 9 yards. And again, it kind of changed the business just from keep on doing what I was doing and realizing what people wanted. But you know, like we've said, stuff happens. I'm sure whatever direction that with stuff like that, you know, it probably will just happen, and you'll know when it happens.
For sure.
I think trying to follow your gut, though. You know?
Yeah.
If you can find those couple staple pieces to
just
need a good design, man. Need a good design.
Yeah.
So, well, it's been awesome having you on.
Yeah.
What's the best place for people to check out your work or order something or contact you?
Sure. So my website is just rltjewelry.com.
Easy.
Yeah. And then my phone number, 217-303-6143.
Nice.
So
So keepsake jewelry, is that your biggest thing right now? You get the most business from?
Definitely.
Keepsake.
Yep. So those one-on-one consultations are always welcome.
Yeah. Would you prefer to have more like custom regular jewelry, or do you just enjoy doing whatever?
I mean, I love finding any kind of components and stones and just making whatever I want to make. I love that.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's a little bit harder to get that out there. But.
Well, if you are looking to memorialize, create a keepsake of a person, anything, an event, your children, your breast milk.
Yep. Beard hair.
Yeah, beard hair. There you go.
Yep.
Check her out, rltjewelry.com.
You got it.
Thanks for coming on today.
Thanks, Andrew.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody.